Surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
Hey Corillo, I'm Nemesis. Welcome back to my channel. Been a minute, but I'm back. Hi, how you been? How y'all been? If you've been a subscriber for a minute, you've noticed that I've been gone for maybe like 1 or 2, almost 3 weeks. I'm sorry.
Things happened.
So anyways, let's get into the song of the mythifiking week, shall we? I missed a couple of song releases that I couldn't mention to y'all because I wasn't filming, but I want to highlight one of them because she really was that good. And I'm talking about the song Rumors by Miss Lizzo and Cardi B. Yes, the collaboration I didn't know I needed, but I'm very grateful for. The song, the music video, the concept, the lyrics, the marketing for the song. Love these two women together. They're just so unapologetic, so themselves that I love to see it. Anyways, that's it. Let's carry on. As you saw by the title of today's video, today is gonna be kind of like a part 2 to this little video right here. I shared my top 5 like golden rules for wavy hair, and on this video I'm gonna give you guys my other 5 rules, or whatever the fuck. Let's call it the wavy bible. Should I call it the wavy bible? The wavy guidebook. Is that good? The first 5 that I discussed on this video were kind of like surface level ones. They're like the basics. Now we're gonna get into more like thorough stuff about wavy / curly hair that could be very useful on your wavy hair journey. And if they're new to you, sit down, sis, because I got notes. Like, I got notes. So get ready. Little golden rule / tip for this video is understanding that the protein / moisture balance is more important than you think. Sis, I thought the key of having healthy, beautiful, perfect, wavy hair is just to keep it moisturized. But protein is also as essential as moisture, and I'm about to explain why. The protein moisture balance is a little bit complicated at first, but once you learn how to identify it in your own hair, it becomes kind of like second nature in all of your wash days. For this video, I'm gonna focus more on protein and why it's so important and how it works, because we know how to identify when our hair needs moisture, but most people don't know how to identify when our hair needs protein or when it has too much protein. So let me get scientific with you for a minute, right? Our hair is made up of 80% to 90% keratin, which is a protein. And this particular protein is what gives our hair strength and structure. Protein nourishes the hair externally to prevent breakage and moisture loss. You need protein in order for your hair to retain moisture. You see how one thing, you know, depends on the other? It's like a yin-yang situation, baby girl. All right, so how do you know when your hair needs a boost of protein? I'm gonna tell you. There's like 4 main signs. The first sign is low elasticity. If I take a strand of hair and I stretch it out and it doesn't bounce back like how this does, you see how I stretch it and then it bounces back, and I stretch it and it bounces back and it doesn't break? That's elasticity. If your hair is lacking that situation, what would happen is that I stretch that strand of hair and it breaks or it never bounces back. Second sign, you might need some protein. If your curls are stringy or limp, they're not getting that beautiful like wave, that ringlet, no matter how much curly hair product you're applying, and it still doesn't give you the usual shape that it would, you might need some protein. This next one, in my opinion, is the worst one. I've never experienced it, but I've seen it, is if your hair feels mushy or gummy. This happens when you over moisturize hair that is lacking protein. So remember when I said one thing depends on the other. If you do not have enough protein in your hair, it will not absorb moisture properly. The moisture or the products that you apply are just gonna sit on top and it's just gonna feel mushy. And this last sign, this one is a little bit tricky to detect, I'm talking about shedding or like increased breakage. I say that that one is tricky to identify because so many factors can contribute to hair loss or hair breakage. It can either be genetic, it can be an allergic reaction, it can be a very specific product. There's so many different things, but one of the factors that could contribute to hair loss and breakage, especially if it starts out of nowhere, is a lack of protein. Now that we know the 4 signs, let me tell you that there is such a thing as too much protein, so let's not get fucking carried away, okay? Now here it gets a little tricky because the same side effects you might experience from lacking protein are also the same kind of effects you might be experiencing if you have too much protein. The reason why these two extremes look very similar on our hair is because protein lacking hair doesn't have the ability to absorb moisture correctly because it's weak. Now, protein overloaded hair will also kind of look similar because it lacks the amount of moisture to balance it out. Protein overloaded hair will also look dry, it will look brittle, it'll be very easy to break. But if you look at the label of your products and you see a lot of these, and in all the products that you use, including your shampoo, your conditioner, your leave-in conditioner, your defining cream, your gel, if you see that there's protein in all of those products, you might be overloading your hair with protein. There should always be a balance. If you have fallen victim to protein overload, let me tell you, there's also ways to fix it. Just hang in there. First of all, you're gonna want to clarify your hair. Second thing, you're gonna want to put your protein products on hold, sis. You're not gonna use them for a while. Use a protein-free deep conditioner. There's many in the market. The one that I'm using right now is from Briogeo, is their Curl Charisma Rice Amino blah 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 blah. Fourth thing you should do is to incorporate a leave-in conditioner, a protein-free leave-in conditioner to your routine if you don't already do that. Fifth step or tip I can give you is to not style your hair how you usually would with like tons of products for a few weeks. Hair that is overloaded in protein, when you add things like gels or mousses, can kind of dry up even faster because, you know, gels and mousses kind of tend to do that sometimes when your hair is not properly moisturized. So you might want to skip on those stylers for a few weeks, or depending on how overloaded your hair is, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see. And the last thing is to seal in moisture using an oil. And after a few weeks of this, you should be fine. You should be able to start seeing this type of bounce on your hair. When you pull it, it shouldn't look as dry or as brittle, and it will come back to the balance. Wow, that explanation took forever. I could make a whole video of this. All right, wavy hair golden rule / tip number 2. It is normal to have different hair textures on the same head of hair. Is it super common? No. But it's normal, and I had to kind of recently come to terms with that, especially with wavy hair. I'll show you mine, and then I'll show you some examples of what I mean. So this is my hair. As you can see, we have some definition over here, but if you look down here, there's pieces of hair that are a lot less wavy. They're almost like 2A. They're almost straight. Like if I brushed them out, they would end up looking straight. But then if you look at the top, I have a whole lot more like definition and just natural little waves. I have some ringlets on the other side, and this is completely normal. And I used to think that it wasn't. I used to think that my hair was just kind of like wrong, or that my lower pieces might be damaged. That's why they don't curl up as my top pieces do. One of the wavy gals that helped me kind of understand this is Miss at Curly Patty. She made this reel of her showing that she has straight hair in the bottom, more wavy hair down the middle, and then super curly bangs and super curly like top pieces of hair, and it's beautiful and it's great. And she also thought that her hair might have been damaged for some reason, and that's when she had different hair textures everywhere. But no, that's just her hair. Now yes, there is a difference between being multi-textured and just have a hair that is recovering from previous damage. The main reason for multi-textured hair is just genetics, especially when you are a multiracial person. I'm a multiracial person, and maybe that's the reason why my hair is multi-textured. I don't fucking know. I'm also starting to think that that's kind of part of just having textured hair in general. The only bad thing or the only con of having multi-textured hair is that when you're styling your hair, you might need to divide it into sections and focus more hydration on the, for example, for me, I know I have to focus more moisture and hydration on my top parts because they are wavier, they are curlier, so they tend to get more dehydrated quicker than maybe this layer of hair. Right here, you can see that it's a lot less wavier. It's more like a 2A type of wave, and it doesn't dehydrate. It doesn't get as dry as quick as my top layer. Rock your different textures and don't hate on the ones that don't curl up the way you want. It's just hair. Right, third golden rule / tip for wavies. This one might get me some tomatoes thrown at me, but my third rule / tip is that the curly girl method might not be for everyone, and that's okay. I'm not the first or the last wavy / curly to say this on the internet. As many of you know, the curly girl method was started by Ms. Lorraine Massey. She wrote a whole book called Curly Girl, the Handbook, and we thank her for that. Thank you, Ms. Ma'am, for taking the time. But as much of a professional as Ms. Lorraine is, she only knows her hair perfectly, but she doesn't know everybody's fucking hair. Hair is very unique, and if we're being honest, only you know exactly what your hair fucking needs. Just giving you an example. If you know that your hair is oily because you have a very oily scalp, but the curly girl method says that you should only wash your hair once a week, but you know that your scalp is very oily and that you will get a lot of buildup on your hair, then maybe wash your hair whenever the fuck you want. I'm gonna put right here her most notable don'ts on the curly girl method. It's like, I get it in theory, but in practice, I can't apply all of these rules to my hair. To not use shampoo, Miss Ma'am, please. So says that we can't use any sulfate in our products, and I kind of don't agree with that because every once in a while, I need to use a clarifying shampoo with sulfates to clarify my hair. But since I know my own hair, I know that then later on, I have to add plenty of moisture on my hair to counteract the effects of sulfates. I know that some of y'all might be clutching your pearls, being like,
me and you use sulfate sometimes.
Yeah. Something that the curly girl method kind of fails to understand is that different textures need different rules, and your scalp also dictates a lot of like what rules you're gonna have to follow for your healthy hair to look its best. My biggest advice is to use the curly girl method to your own convenience. Use it in parts. Use it as a suggestion book instead of as a rule book, you know? All right, golden rule or tip number 4. This one might also get some tomatoes thrown at me. I don't give a fuck. Listen, frizz is a very normal part of having wavy / curly hair. And in my opinion, one of the coolest things of having wavy / curly hair. Listen, I know we all hate frizz to some extent. It's also part of like almost every single commercial you see for a hair product. Like, it will stop all frizz, it will protect you from all frizz, you don't want frizz, how to stop frizzy hair. There's so many articles, there's so many videos, there's so many tips, there's so many things to completely eliminate frizz. But let me tell you something, sis. Let me tell you something. You can use all of the moisturizing products in the world to prevent your hair to get very frizzy, but your hair will always experience a level of frizz because it's normal and natural. It's just the way that hair reacts to touch, to the air, to moisture levels, to everything. Like, it's a normal part of having hair, period, especially if you have wavy or curly hair. And the reason why I think it's kind of cool is because frizz gives you volume, frizz gives you texture, frizz gives your hair that like beautiful defying gravity quality that curly hair has. This is not me telling you to stop adding moisture to your hair so that it gets as frizzy as possible, but just to embrace the little amount of frizz that you get because it's part of it, to not obsess over, to not feel like your hair is not beautiful because it experiences frizz. Like, I feel like frizz is so fucking cute. All right, and for my last golden rule / tip, we're gonna get a little scientific again, okay? All right, so I'm talking about hard water versus soft water. This is a new topic for me, okay? All right, so what makes water hard water is by containing an excess of calcium and magnesium. And when it comes to hair, hard water can leave like a film of these minerals, which will cause your hair to not be able to absorb moisture properly, therefore leading to dehydrated, dry, brittle hair. The likelihood of you having hard water depends on where you are located. I'm just gonna share the states here in the US that have very hard water, just because, well, this is where I live. I don't know about Europe or any other parts of the world, but here in the US, the top 6 states with the hardest waters are Florida, Indiana, Wisconsin, Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. If you live in any of these states, you might have very hard water. I will also share here the ones that have moderately hard water, which is a little bit better, but still kind of bad, and the states that have moderately soft water, just so you check, see where you stand in there. But fear not, there is a solution to these problems. The first one, and like the thing that I would immediately do if I lived in any of the states that have hard water, is buy a freaking shower water filter, and also get one for your sink in the kitchen. They come in all sorts of prices and qualities and brands, but they are out there. They are, I think, the best solution to the problem. If this is not an option that you would like to opt in, you can also just use clarifying shampoos at least once a week. I've also read and seen so much about more natural ways of clarifying your hair, like acetic rinses. I've heard a lot about the apple cider vinegar rinse for people that need to clarify their hair in a more natural way so that they can avoid using sulfates and stuff like that. Also, using moisturizing masks and leave-in conditioners after clarifying your hair will do wonders. And the fifth thing that you could possibly do to fix the effects of having mineral buildup is that at the end of your shower, just rinse your hair with bottled water or filtered water to kind of offset the effects of the mineral buildup, and that's it. But again, the best thing you could do is just buy that filter, sis. Just buy the filter. That's it, yay! Those are my extra 5 golden rules / tips for the wavy hair guidebook that I am doing in my head and also sharing in this channel. Other than that, I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful in any sort of freaking way. I am here to try to help you make your wavy hair journey as easy and as smooth as possible. All right, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching till the end. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad to be back. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Also follow me on Instagram at nemesismarie06 for more pictures of my face and more like skincare / makeup type of content, and at nemesismarie6 on TikTok for more personality content if I ever decide to post again on TikTok. I don't know. And most importantly, have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye.